ChatGPT said. The words, "I am my mother's lawyer," thundered through the courtroom, halting Judge Harrison's movements as he looked over his glasses in surprise. 9-year-old David Thompson stood beside his mother, Janet, his small frame carrying a voice sharp enough to slice through the tension. Across the room, his wealthy father, real estate mogul Robert Wellington III, nearly choked on his coffee. Calmly, David reminded the court that under Article 12 of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, he had the right to be heard in matters affecting him. Opening his worn school notebook, he declared he had evidence explaining why he should remain with his mother and exposing his father's true motives. Silence blanketed the courtroom as Robert's lawyers fumbled, unprepared to face a child armed with international law. For years, Robert had ignored his son, showing up only 4 times with hollow promises, until he suddenly demanded custody. But David was ready. With composure beyond his years, he revealed that his father had recently lost lawsuits, faced divorce, and had a hidden reason for wanting custody: a $1.7 million trust fund left by David's grandmother, accessible only if Robert gained custody. Robert's face turned pale as David presented public records, lawsuits, and documents he had gathered with help from a librarian who taught him how to research. Piece by piece, the boy exposed his father's greed, showing how he had preyed on struggling families through corrupt business schemes. The courtroom gasped when David produced proof of 17 lawsuits against Wellington Industries. Then came the most shocking revelation: an audio recording of Robert plotting to send David to a strict military school to access the inheritance money while cutting Janet out completely. The judge played the tape, and Robert's voice filled the room, admitting his plan to use his son's trust fund while calling David too smart for his own good. The judge's gavel struck as he denied Robert's custody request and ordered a fraud investigation. David looked at his defeated father and said he sought justice, not revenge, because every child deserves love, not exploitation. Years passed, and the boy who once defended his mother became a national symbol of courage. His story went viral, inspiring laws across states and a movement empowering children to speak for themselves. At 12, David appeared on national television, modestly saying he wasn't a genius, just a kid who learned that every child's voice matters. Janet, now a nursing supervisor, beamed with pride as her son used his fame to help others. David's foundation built legal aid programs for underprivileged families, and his Cool Law Library project equipped libraries with children's rights resources nationwide. Meanwhile, Robert's empire collapsed, his fraud exposed, leaving him broke and forgotten. Yet David never spoke ill of him, telling interviewers that forgiveness and boundaries were both forms of strength. When a girl later wrote to thank David for saving her family from eviction using his program, he realized how his pain had created hope for others. At 16, David became the youngest lawyer in U.S. history, fighting to make legal education part of every school curriculum, and he won. His journey proved that intelligence and love could triumph over greed and privilege. The boy, once underestimated, had not only saved his mother but redefined what justice meant. David's victory wasn't revenge. It was a legacy of truth, compassion, and the reminder that no one is ever too small to change the world.